The other thing I would say is be smart enough to know that you may be the expert in whatever it is that you are sharing, but you're probably not the expert in how to get out there and share it. So I make my videos, or try to, like I'm having a conversation. Even though you're not talking back to me, Michelle, on the video, I'm talking to you. And hopefully you feel like I'm talking to you. So I think that's really important too, because people want to feel engaged.
Welcome to The Business of You, the show that empowers you to put yourself out there and build your personal brand. I'm your host, Michelle Griffin, helping you each week with expert tips, inspiring stories, and personalized coaching so you can master your reputation and build your future, showing up as the brand and business of you. I'm excited you're here. Now let's get going with today's show. Welcome back to another episode, guys. I am super excited today because I am interviewing someone who I'm really kind of in awe. I mean, it's no secret that recorded video is my downfall. I just don't do enough of it. So when I see people who are getting out there and even getting out there every single day or almost consistently every day, I am in awe. So today I'm super excited to bring my friend and financial educator, Joel Forman, to the show. Welcome, Joel.
Well, thank you very much, Michelle. I really appreciate it. Since we've connected last year through a variety of social media, we've stayed very well connected, and we've shared a lot of tips, and we've shared, contacts, etc. So you were on our Clubhouse call that we had last year, and that was great. And we decided to sunset season 1 for now because other things became more demanding. But I've done a couple of podcasts, so I was so excited to have the opportunity to do yours.
Absolutely. I'm excited too, because, part of this show is, like I told you in the pre-roll, is that it's going to be inspiring stories. It's going to be expert subject matter guests telling us how to get out there. And then, personalized coaching for me. But the beauty of today is we're getting a 2-for-1 with you. We're getting your inspiring story and then expert tips, because he's going to tell us how he has seen amazing success on LinkedIn,
Yep.
Instagram, and TikTok. So we're going to get to that in a moment. So if you've been apprehensive about getting out there in video, he's going to tell us all the things. So let's start, Joel. Tell us a little bit, for those who don't know you yet, tell us a little bit about who you are, what do you do, and who you primarily serve.
Okay. Well, I am a financial management person by nature. So I've spent the last 30 plus years of my career either in traditional financial roles or consulting roles. So in the consulting roles, I'm always advising clients in the corporate setting, about budgeting and investments and different things. So it's kind of was a natural progression to what I'm doing now, which I created a financial literacy blueprint to help people at all ages. But I'm really targeting younger people when they're in like high school and college, so they can get on a strong financial footing out of the gate. So because I had a lot of times where I was teaching clients, even like I think I mentioned to you before, even Excel and pivot table classes, little did I know when I was doing that over the years, I was going to be training myself to stand up and teach something else that I'm even more passionate about. So that's how I kind of got to where I am. And I decided, the consulting was not as strong during the pandemic. And my youngest son said, "Hey, Dad," he goes, "You just helped me with my retirement account. You just helped me, get my stocks in order. You've got me budgeting. You got me saving. You got me doing all these things. If it wasn't for you, I'd be clueless, and my friends would be clueless, and a lot of our family would be clueless." He said, "Dad, you got to do something about this. They don't teach this stuff in school." So he said, "Dad, you can do it, and you have some time now." So sometimes, you try to teach your kids a lot of things, and sometimes they teach you, and they let you know that there's something else that you can do that you would be really excited about. So that's kind of how I got to where I was. And that's what, prompted me to actually create Forman's Financial Facts.
No, that's a great story. Another example of pivoting during the dreaded pandemic. So yes. Love that. So bring us up to speed. You and I really got to know each other last year on LinkedIn, where I meet so many of my amazing guests and become friends and collaborators. But you decided, and show is also about the power of consistency. Okay. So you decided, I need to get out there. Walk us through that story when you decided to start putting yourself out there.
All right. Well, it's actually a really interesting story, and actually helped push me out of my comfort zone. So when I decided to, put this blueprint out there and get a website, and I knew that in order to meet, and get connected with, people in my target audience, social media is the way to go. Well, just like my son said, there's a lot. His friends were clueless about financial matters. Well, I was clueless about social media. And also prior to that, even though I have an outgoing personality, I'm very private in my personal life. So I very rarely even posted anything on Facebook. So I had to go through this major transformation to just get over that and say, hey, I've got to put myself out there, and I got a brand management person and a social media person to, give me coaching and help me, see that. So they said, well, just go in front of the camera. Your personality will come across. You don't have to, be perfect. You don't have to always be in sync. As a matter of fact, sometimes it's more human to show like little flaws, or, you stutter every once in a while, or you say something and you just correct it right away. So, all of those things were very, very helpful, but it was still scary. I mean, you're in front of the camera, and then you're going to put this out there, and who knows how many people are going to see it and who's going to comment on it. So I went from like being like in anonymity from a social media perspective to boom, I'm out there, and I'm out there everywhere on LinkedIn, and then eventually Instagram and TikTok. But LinkedIn was where I really committed most of my time for the videos and the financial word of the days last year.
That's awesome. I can totally relate. I'm extroverted like crazy, love to talk to people. And then when I get online, I just get private and frozen. So that's really something I'm working on. So this is a great lesson for me today too. So I can't wait for you to break that down. So you get on LinkedIn and you say, I'm going to do these videos. Tell us how that worked for you. I think you did like 250 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I set a goal, and I was like, okay, well, I need to, be able to get out there as an educator. So how am I going to do that? Well, nobody knows who I am at that point. They know me as a financial management consultant. They know me personally. So I decided I need to give free tips, free financial tips to show my level of expertise and to help people and get people to engage. So I decided first I was just going to do financial word of the days, where I was just going to have like a little, topic, and I was going to write a couple sentences and put it out there. And then I was like, you know what? This is kind of good, but I think video, so many people like video. I've got to do that too. So I decided, okay, let's set a goal. I want to do about 5 word of the days, financial word of the days, and 5 videos a week, and put them out on LinkedIn. So that's 10 pieces of content a week for a whole year. And in total, I ended up with 250 of both. And let me tell you something, it was exciting. It was exhilarating. And if you look at some of my earlier videos from last year, I look at them and I just put my head down like, oh my God, I was terrible. But you know what? You get more comfortable. I got to the point where I felt like just how you and I are having a conversation right now. I didn't speak as fast. I calmed down. I wasn't like nervous. I wasn't like, saying, I wasn't, and not that I don't do that once in a while. Everybody does, especially because I don't like to read my script except for the financial rhymes. That was another thing. That was a cool thing I decided to do. I didn't see anybody doing financial poems or financial rhymes. So I decided a couple months into last year that every Wednesday I was going to do a financial rhyme. And I have 8 topics in my blueprint, and I was going to do one related to each. So those I do read, because you have to be able to pause and emphasize on the right thing. And if you're not looking at it, you're going to really mess that up. So those I do have to read. But it was great, but it was a lot of work. And I have to tell you, the thing about it was, it's all up here. Like I purposely did not read or look at what other people were putting out there. I did before I created the blueprint, because I wanted to make sure that mine was going to be different, and it was going to be distinct, and it was going to be easy to follow and have the things that I felt, if you know these things, you're good. But, people a lot of times will ask me, well, Joel, where do you come up with all this stuff? I just love finance. I love money. And I've been helping people for so long, it comes easy. Now, when I say it comes easy, I have the knowledge there. Now, putting it down on paper and then getting it on video, that is not easy. It's easier now than it was a year ago, but it's still a lot of work. You have to wordsmith it. You got to change it. My wife is really good at writing. I'll have her read some of them. Sometimes I'll play the videos and I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. And I may have to do one of them like 5 times, and then I could do the next 4, because that was the other thing. I did them in blocks, and we can talk about that. I would mess up on one. I'd have to do it like 7 times. And then the next 4, I would just go boom, 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 boom. And they all came out, good in my mind. So it was definitely a lot of fun. I didn't realize I had so much stuff floating around up here that I could actually put down that would be useful in sizable chunks.
Wow, so much good tips and motivation there. Gosh, I'm going to break that down. First of all, you had a format. When I work with my clients, I'm like, let's get some of your branded IP. Let's get something like your go-to thing, which is yours
Yeah.
is Forman's Financial Facts. And then you were able to not really have to keep creating content, just kind of rehashing in a great way your
Mhm.
stuff. And then you put in a video format, which I think were probably like what, 60 seconds or so, most of these
Um,
videos.
the videos on LinkedIn ranged anywhere from 60 seconds to like 2.5 minutes, but most of
Mhm.
them were between like 60 and 90 seconds because I
Okay.
didn't want it to be too much. Now let's talk about TikTok and Instagram; those are shorter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted
Okay.
it to be enough that you get the point, but not so much that it'd be like, okay, this guy just keeps talking. We got to go on to something else.
Yeah, our attention spans are so short, these
Exactly.
days. So I'm all about the 60-second or below, actually. But you're an educator like me. You could sit there all day and talk about financial, like I could talk about branding and marketing and getting
Mhm.
people out there. So it comes through. And that's the thing. When you start getting video, and I know this, but I don't do it, you get on video, your true personality, that energy that you have, that's going to resonate out there, and the right people are going to find you and be attracted. So that's huge. So
Yeah.
congratulations on
Thank you.
250 videos. That is huge. But think of the library you have now. Those can be repurposed. That's another thing I'm passionate about is repurposing. So you do all that, you get traction, you get confidence, you're putting yourself out there, you're getting clarity, and you're getting better. So at some point, tell me where the Instagram TikTok part comes in and tell me how that's
Okay.
all going down for you.
All right. Well, it was a different kind of strategy because on LinkedIn, what I was thinking, I've geared this really towards, the blueprint towards younger people like high school and college. So, but high school and college students, a lot of them don't have a lot of money to, afford maybe some additional education around finance. So I wanted to, get to the professional people, their parents. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm talking to colleges and I'm also talking to corporations about teaching employees and their families. I'm talking about, colleges about teaching their students. So I wanted to have a platform where a lot of those were out, where I could reach a lot of people and share some of my expertise and help build up my following so that the more people in those spaces that follow me that have either kids that are their own or they know kids or nieces and nephew, or they teach the kids, they can see after a while, wow, all right, Joel's always showing up. He's giving us all this information for free. Maybe there's something to this blueprint of his to, kind of take it to the next level. So I really did invest a lot of time and effort on that. So switching to where you'd have a combination of those folks and then you'd have mostly young people, that's where the Instagram, Facebook, and the TikTok came in. First, it was Instagram and Facebook. And again, as I said earlier, I was like, didn't even really barely exist on Facebook before all this happened. So it was a big, big change for me. But Instagram has a combination, I'm not sure how much you know about it, of all kinds of different age ranges. And you can kind of gear certain things towards certain demographics. And that's where my social media person comes in. Don't ask me to explain all the dynamics of that. I defer that to her. I just, tailor my content, based on wherever we want to, have it focused. But when it came to TikTok, this was me. I'm like, okay, you know what? I've got this video thing down. Okay. But I want to reach my target or my true target audience, which is really the younger folks. Okay. So I started off, and this was embarrassing. The first couple ones I did some raps. Oh my God, Michelle. I hope you don't find those. Those were oh my God. Like people like gave me some good feedback on it. My kids thought it was hilarious. I was so embarrassed, but I was like, they said make it short. I'm like, all right, well, and make it different. Make yourself stand out. Well, financial rhymes on LinkedIn, financial raps on TikTok. I didn't do too many of those. But what I did do is I tailored a lot of things to make them relatable. So the topics that I would cover maybe in a, 60 to 90 minute, 120 minute on LinkedIn, I would take those same topics and I would craft them. And this is where a lot of what you said, the bank of content came in. So between the word of the days and the videos and what was still in my head that wasn't down anywhere yet, that's where I said, okay, what are young people thinking about? They're thinking about student loans, they're thinking about cars, they're worrying about, how they're going to survive when they get out of college, they're worrying about their credit score. There's all these different things. You talk to young people about life insurance, they laugh at you. What do I need life insurance for? Well, it's not for you. It's to protect those you love. If God forbid something happens to you, and they're relying on that income, to support your family. So there's all these different things. So TikTok, I try to be a little bit more laid back. And you'll see, like I did some at the holidays where I was like dancing and I'm doing some things to sound. I had a holiday box with a bunch of cash in it for one of them. And I counted the cash and then threw it on the floor. So I'm really trying to, if you see me on LinkedIn and then you see me there, I'm the same person, but you'll be like, wow, this guy's got like a range of personalities or something, because he's telling the same kind of stuff, but he's saying it differently and he's acting different and he's dancing and he's doing this and he's all animated. So, part of it is, I had the foundation from LinkedIn, but I had to then alter my, approach to be more relatable. And part of that comes with the fact that between my second wife and I, we have 4 kids, 19 through 23. So I am, used to relating to them, but video is very different. And, the music and the things that are like trending, there's all these different components that LinkedIn doesn't have any of that. LinkedIn is so much more straightforward. And as a, corporate professional for all these years, it was more natural. So this has really been a stretch. Just like doing the videos and getting on social media to begin with was a huge paradigm shift for me. This was also a shift. The difference being I was already comfortable with the videos. I just had to change it, make them shorter, make them a little bit more fun, and just, more animated. And it's been great.
That's awesome. So you actually upped your notch. You took the first step, got out there, and then on TikTok, which is so good to hear that people in professional services can make it. So tell us, because everyone's like, TikTok's this, it's the world's most Googled or searched it's the number one website or platform right now for search above Google, which is crazy, right? So, the reach is just off the charts there. Okay. Sure. Organic reach is to be had. But everyone thinks that you have to dance, you have to rap, some of the fun things you're going to do because you're already like that anyway. But tell us, like, if you're in, an entrepreneur or even whoever in the corporate world or whatever, but we don't want to be so corporate-y, what does it take to see traction in our space on TikTok?
Okay. Well, what you need to do is you have to do a little bit of research and watch what some of the other people that are in your space are doing in that space. And then you can decide, okay, do you want to replicate them that are having some success, not copy them, but replicate similar, or do you want to kind of go on your own path and have your own personality come through? So that's the first thing. So in my case, I decided to take the latter because I wanted to kind of do it in my own style. I wanted to change it up and I wanted to be a little bit more loose with it. But the most important thing I would say, though, is it's the content, because it doesn't matter how animated you are. It doesn't matter what a big smile you have, wearing a funny hat. If you're not saying things in a clear and concise way that are of interest to people. Not all of my videos do well. Some of them that I think are going to do well get like 100 views. And then some of the other ones that I'm not thinking do well get like 1,000. And it really depends on what resonates. And the other thing that's funny is between TikTok and Instagram, one of them will blow up on one, but will do almost nothing on the other, and vice versa. And I can't figure that out. It's like a puzzle. My social media and I, my brand management people we're shaking our heads. We're like, wow, I would have thought this did good over there and over here, and it's different. So, get yourself ready. And like you said, one of the things you talk about is consistency. So I consistently try to make sure that I'm giving a variety of, like in my case, it's easier because I have a blueprint. I have 8 concepts and then I have sub concepts within there. So I'm always trying to do the majority of my stuff in that wheelhouse, but there's other financial topics that are outside of that. So I branch out. So hopefully those things help.
No, that's really good. You're doing them daily on TikTok as well, Joel?
I do 4 TikTok videos a week. Okay. And I do 2 reels and 2 just static posts on Instagram now. And that's, one of the things we talked about is the 250 word of the days in the videos. That was last year. Because of those additional 8 things that I'm doing on TikTok that take a lot of time, I went from 5 word of the days and 5 videos of the week last year on LinkedIn to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm doing the videos, and Wednesday is still the rhymes on the videos, and Tuesday and Thursday are word of the days, because it just takes a lot of time to write all of those things, wordsmith them, and then record them, and then send it to my team. We get subtitles on some of them, and there's just a lot of stuff. So it sounds like, okay, wow, you're doing the videos. Well, that's the other thing that I would say. If you want to get out there, you have to give yourself time for the whole gamut. It's not just the video. It's not just what you're, putting into words to put in the video. Then you got to like do something with it. You got to decide, do you want subtitles? Do you want this? And then you have to, have a depository somewhere where your entire team can get to it. So if they decide, wow, I think this will play well on this social media, where is that video? And I number all my videos. All my word of the days, all my TikToks. Everything is numbered and organized. And I have this master Excel spreadsheet. So I can tell you what I did on which day, like when it, posted. And it's a lot to keep track of, but it's great. So organization and consistency is important. So that's why, just like I experienced, a lot of success on LinkedIn, showing up every day, TikTok and Instagram, I wanted to do like every week. I wanted to do 4 and 4. I might end up doing more, but that seems like a nice balance. People say, oh, you got to post every day on TikTok. Well, I'm still doing financial consulting. I'm going to be hopefully teaching at some colleges soon. I only have so many hours of the day. So I can't do everything the way I wanted to. And I don't want to spread myself too thin, which is another reason why I decided with my team that we were going to sunset the Clubhouse call, in the fourth quarter last year, because we were just, all of us, our businesses, which was a good problem to have, were getting busier, and we couldn't devote as much time to getting the guests and doing everything that we were doing. So we had to shift, but we are thinking about getting the band back together, so to speak, sometime this year for season 2. So I'll let you know if that happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. You do so much, and that's great. But the balance of consistency and balance in your life too,
Yes.
that I saw that last year when I was doing a lot of things. And even this year, my mantra is, simplify, and to just get really good in one area, not do too many things. But content creation, education, and helping and getting out there to teach others all about personal branding, that's just my love. So it doesn't feel like
I
work.
love that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So everyone's here listening, celebrating your success. You do all these amazing things. But the big question is, what has it helped you done? We know personally gave you confidence and clarity, but for your business, tell us some of the success getting out there in video and social media has really helped you with.
Okay. Well, it's done a few things. First of all, it's helped me with, getting people to recognize me as a financial educator versus like a financial management person, which is different, because just like in school, some people are good students, but they can't necessarily teach others in terms of tutors, and other people can tutor. So I'm fortunate that I'm able to, teach what I know, well, not in every aspect, but in these aspects for the financial literacy, to people in a way that they can understand and in a way that they can comprehend it. And that's something that, has been helpful. So what happens is, that knowing that and presenting that when I'm talking to colleges or when I'm talking to corporations, where they're saying, well, a lot of, we're doing a lot of things for our people, and financial stress is like a really big thing. And I said, yeah, I said, absolutely, it is. I said, and that's something that I can help with, because if people are coming to work and they're feeling the financial pressures and stress at home, that's distracting them from the work that they're doing for you. And they're not necessarily able to give their best performance. So it's really a win-win for them and for you. So my ability to, show the tips and to be able to get to these meetings and get in front of people, and, eventually once I get to a certain point, I'll hopefully get permission to share maybe some, videos from some of these sessions, which I should be able to do hopefully in the not too distant future. That'll be great to see and to show everybody, because it's really about, I love this. Like you said, it doesn't feel like work to me. It's a lot of effort. I say effort versus work. So my consulting that I do, going to different clients, to me, that's work. To me, all of my financial literacy stuff and helping people, that's effort, and I'm passionate about it and I like it. So even though I probably work way harder on this stuff than I do on the other stuff, and I'm a hard worker, it's definitely something that I really, I enjoy. And I like when the light bulb goes on. I love when you're explaining something to someone, which previously they were like deer in headlights by their own admission, and all of a sudden the light bulb goes on and they're clicking like, oh my God, I thought this was so complicated, Joel. You just made it so simple. I feel silly for not having learned this before. And I said, it's just a question of just learning it in the right way and positioning it. And you also might be ready to learn now, whereas before you might not have been open to it.
That's such great takeaways. So, it's definitely just propelled you to a whole nother level. And if this is just a start by getting out there on TikTok and educating social media and LinkedIn, I just cannot wait to the next. You're making a whole platform here, in addition to your consulting work. and, going out to teach corporations, students, universities. Oh, I just salute what you're doing. That's why I do what I do on this podcast, my work, to help people like you, maybe who don't have the clarity that you do yet, get out there. I mean, think of all the goodness that you're doing. So thank you, Joel, for that. It's great to hear. So as we end our conversation today, which has been fantastic, I always like to ask a couple things. First, what are 3 high-level things or 3 things we should do or not do if someone wants to be seen as that expert, whether they're in corporate or an entrepreneur or have a side brand, whatever it is, what would you say they should do to get out there, specifically in your case, consistently on social media?
Well, first of all, I think the most important thing is to be really clear about what it is that you want to get out there with. And also, don't be a jack of all, master of none. You don't want to have so many things. So, like, I could have come up with more than 8 concepts. I know a lot more of them, but those are the most critical. And I get people asking me all the time, well, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about that? I said, I can talk about that. But if you don't understand the things that I'm presenting to you now, you're not going to understand some of the more sophisticated things. So that would be one thing that I would say is make sure that you're really clear and you're really good with, you have, I think this is 7 C's, I think it is with the, that you break out of showing, the content, the consistency, and all of the things that are in there to kind of help you frame before you just go out there and leap. So that would be one thing I would say. The other thing I would say is be smart enough to know that you may be the expert in whatever it is that you are sharing, but you're probably not the expert in how to get out there and share it. So for me, even though I got over the fear of doing the videos, I had to be coached on how to say things, how to pause sometimes, how to, just show my mannerism, show enthusiasm, and, and sometimes just be very, calm. So I had to kind of, show your personality so people feel like they're actually talking to you. So I make my videos, or try to, like I'm having a conversation. Even though you're not talking back to me, Michelle, on the video, I'm talking to you. And hopefully you feel like I'm talking to you. So I think that's really important too, because people want to feel engaged. And when you do, the other thing I would say, and this is huge, is comment and engage in other people's activity, whether it's LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. So many people know so many things. And sometimes you'll have, you just want to say, hey, thanks for sharing. Sometimes you'll have a story or a tidbit that might enhance what they've already put out there. And then one last thing I'd like to say is, and this is kind of funny, I'm borrowing this from someone and I know they won't mind, is you don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. There are so many people out there that know so many things. And I would say that I'm around people all the time. And I'd say I'm rarely, if ever, the smartest person in the room. And that's good because I'm learning and absorbing like a sponge. I've learned more in these last, 15 months, probably, with everything that I'm doing than I've learned in a long time. And it's kind of like being in school, but in a good way, like life school, not necessarily book. Oh, I have to cram for an exam.
Oh, those are great, great tips and takeaways. Thank you, Joel. So
You're
inspiring.
welcome.
Well, before we find out where to find you and follow you, tell us your personal, professional mantra saying that he can inspire us to get out there or get on social media, something that would help us out.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've always done, and I'm going to borrow this from Stephen Covey. He has a book. It's a long time been out there. I don't know how many years, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I very much resonate with some of those things. And I remember some of those techniques by heart, not all of them, just because I continually use them. But the one that I like the best is begin with the end in mind. Because if you don't know where you want to go, then it's hard for you to lay out the blueprint or the strategy to get there. So, you don't have to be perfect with it, but no, okay, well, if your goal is to sell 1 million copies of your book, or if your goal is to, okay, I want to run the New York Marathon. Okay, well, what do you have to do in those 2 scenarios to get yourself to be in position to do that? And what's going to happen is, and you know this, being in business, it's no matter how well you lay out the plan, you got to be willing to take a turn. You got to be willing to take a step back. You got to be willing to throw out something that's not working and come in with something new. But if the goal is out there and you know where you need to go in the end, you and others can help you get there.
So well said, especially for financial management and education. It's especially what I do when I work with my branding clients. We reverse engineer where they want to go. So,
I
or
love
what they
that.
want. Yeah. I'm a big reverse engineer.
I might
So
steal that from you. Do you mind?
absolutely steal away. Yeah. I'm all about sharing stuff. So yeah, that's so good. This is such a great episode. I'm so loving all this advice. Okay. So everyone here is probably just lapping up all you're saying and inspiring us. I know they want to go see all your TikTok videos, maybe check out the rap ones in the beginning. Do tell, where
Be
should
kind.
we will, we promise. Tell us where to find you and follow you, Joel.
Okay. Well, as you know, you can find me on LinkedIn. So most people, I would say, in the professional realm, follow me there. So, but if you want to go to my website, it's formansfinancialfacts.com, and I'll spell that for you because there's no E in my last name. So it's actually FORMAN, and then there's no apostrophe in the website. S and then financial facts, all one word. So it's FORMANS and then financial facts all together.com. And then on, TikTok and LinkedIn, it's Forman's Financial Facts on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm just looking just to make sure because I thought one of them was different, but okay. And on LinkedIn, the actual path, if you want to go to that one, it's actually www.linkedin.com IN / Joel Forman, and then it's FFF for Forman's Financial Facts. But basically, you can type my name in. You can. I'm actually, when I Google myself, a lot of my stuff comes up now. It's kind of weird. Like a year ago, that wouldn't have happened. Now, I'm like, oh, there's some of my videos. There's my website. There's like different things on there. But there's a lot of places for you to find me, and I have my email address on some of those as well, so you can reach out and we can start a dialogue. But I'm always looking to connect with more people. I'm always looking to learn new things. About how I can be a better professional, a better person. And I'm always looking to share tips if people are interested in what I have to say or have to share. So you can find me in a lot of ways, a lot of places. And like Michelle said, I think there'll be more places because she said, and she's right, I'm building myself up to get on other platforms and do other things. But I also have to manage it. I'm one person. And I have to, I would love to do more on YouTube right now. I started to do a little bit and I pulled back because I couldn't invest the time I wanted.
Absolutely. And we'll put all those links and how to get in touch with you in the show notes, because I'm sure
Great.
people are going to definitely want to check out what you're doing. So Joel, yeah, absolutely. I just want to thank you for sharing your story, inspiring us, telling us some great tips on how to get on TikTok and Instagram. So thank you for stopping by today. Appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome, Michelle. And I try to engage in a lot of your content, and I read a lot of your stuff, even when I don't have time to engage. You share so many things that have not only helped me, but helped others. So it was a pleasure for me to have an opportunity to come on the show and talk with you and share some of my knowledge as well. And I hope it helps a lot of people.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. That's why I'm here, just like you are, to help and educate people in personal branding. So until next time, everybody, I want to say, if you would like to get my help or would like to reach out to me about how you can build your brand, or even join my LinkedIn personal branding community, which is free, on how to, learn how to get out on LinkedIn and put yourself out there, reach out to me at yourbrandyourbusiness.com. And until next week and our next episode, I just want to encourage you all to keep putting yourself out there. You have a brand to build, a business to grow, as you watch the business of you flourish. So until next time, everyone, have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. We need more impactful professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders just like you getting out there sharing your expertise. So if you'd like to know more about how I can help you or your team grow your professional personal brand, please check out yourbrandyourbusiness.com. And until next time, you have a brand to build, a message to share, and people to impact. Now go put yourself out there and watch the business of you grow.